Guys, we're here live, sort of, kind of. I told you I was going to come back.
Wednesday,
And
the
yes,
8th.
well, by the time this come out, it'll be Friday.
Uh,
So
all right.
we're not too live. We're live. Welcome to the show, guys. Told you I was coming back. Told you I was going to bring people. I'm here with Manny. Manny, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are.
Everyone who's watching this, all 4 of you so far, respect you guys. Pretty much go by Manny. I've known pretty much his wife, Courtney's brother, Kyle. Known him my whole life. Pretty much.
We'll probably put him on the show sooner or later.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. He's an interesting person to listen to, in a good way. Pretty much info about me: being into video games, anime, wrestling, like sports, mainly soccer though. That's really my bread and butter. But obviously, go Birds, uh, Sixers. But I only bandwagon them, when they're doing good. If not, honestly, Luca. That's really who I support. Besides that, I'm also a two-time football fantasy champion in Wales League. He's never won it.
There we go.
I've also beat him in Madden. Can't beat me in that. Destroyed him in FIFA, like 20-1 accumulated score. He left. I forgot. He left.
I proved the facts.
Don't worry. When Kyle's on this, he's my proof.
Perfect.
Besides that, music, kind of do all the normal stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you and I.
Well, no, just like I said, you have guys. Malik is going to be on next. We're going to have a bunch of other guys, other people here. Today's show is basically we're going to start it off right. It's fun. We're going to talk about Drake. We're going to talk NBA basketball playoffs on the East Side, as well as talk about maybe a future face of the franchise or the league with Ant-Man, as well as some film, WWE recap. Here's that intro. I'm back later.
Made all of this money this week. Yeah, shit look amazing to me. Yeah, all of my.
We're back. So, while y'all were away, me and Manny were talking, because he was talking crap about beating me in fantasy. Fantasy is fantasy. You get your good luck and you get your bad luck and stuff like that. So
that's not true.
So, if you've been living under a rock, you might have heard that there's been a little beef.
A small beef.
I just want to know right now from you, who's winning, Drake or Kendrick?
Hot take. I do think it's Drake right now. And I'll explain real quick why. Don't get me wrong. Both sides are throwing very strong allegations. Strong. At the moment, the only reason I see Drake winning is because he's had people defend him. He's had people come to his side and be like, yo, didn't happen. Whether it's true or not, that's gonna, time will tell. But for now, you got to give him the credit that he has people backing him. It's not like he's like no one's helping him.
Okay.
And at the same time, what I tell people all the time is like, if you really think about it, the way Drake ended that last song was saying, "You show me your proof first."
You're talking about Blackheart.
No, yeah, the Hard Part 6.
All right.
At the end, he said, "You show proof, then I'll show mine." I honestly believe neither of them have proof on anything, but Drake just beat him to the punch, saying, "You go first." Like back, like in like elementary or cousins, friends, whatever, you would go like, "No, you first."
I mean, I see exactly what you mean. Personally, it's so convoluted because
at the same time, I also tell people, what's Meet the Grams.
Yeah.
Current, it is the most controversial song, only because he was, as far as we know, Drake has admitted to planting the evidence. Don't know if that's true, but
listen, if after Meet the Grams, if I was Drake, me and Kendrick would have to rumble. I mean, personally, but that was just.
I mean, he got shot almost.
Drake. But by the time this video come out, I'm pretty sure maybe there was 2 more songs that was probably going to come out.
I hope.
But
to be fair, want to just put this out there. I am neither really a Kendrick or a Drake fan. I'm more of a J. Cole fan. I prefer his music. I just like his style more. I think Kendrick would be second on my list. third being Drake. But if it comes to like sales and songs like everyone can listen to and bop to, Drake's number one.
Well, you know what's so interesting, right? And you hit on it. If and I've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of people have been saying Drake lost, and I don't know at this moment. If you're going to go lyrically, sure, Kendrick won, sure, because Kendrick is lyrically better than Drake.
Agree.
But as an
Can't disagree.
entertainer,
Drake's better.
Drake is better.
Yeah.
In terms of because what he has done. Just ask any other other rap battle beat that he's had. Some that he's won, and some that he has gratefully bowed out, and he tried to bow out in the Black Heart 6. But I think it's beyond this point right now.
Are we talking about Drake?
Yeah.
I mean, he only really lost one. I would say was Pusha T.
Well, Pusha T for sure, but
all the other ones, I think he's winning. I mean, in my opinion, Drake really did the power move and put in Metro, Future, ASAP Rocky, Kanye West, all of them in one song with also coming at Kendrick. So if you really think about it, Drake said, "You're not important enough to make separate songs for you guys. I'm gonna group you up in a small 30-second line burst, and then I'm gonna go back to Kendrick."
True. And
so at the same time, real quick, a lot of people said because he defended himself, he looks guilty. But if you saw the comments, everyone said if he doesn't defend himself, he's making himself look guilty. So then now that he defended himself, you're gonna accuse him of playing defense because he defended himself. It's like you can't have it both ways.
True. Me and Malik were talking about this the other day, and Malik said the same thing, and I'm like, well, because some of the stuff that Kendrick has said, besides the planet so-called evidence, some of the stuff that Kendrick said, we already kind of heard of. There's nothing new that he has said that we didn't hear.
That's why I think lyrically, Kendrick is winning. But if it comes to the stuff being said, I mean, most of it, to be fair, with the Drake being a pedo, allegedly right now, it's not like most of us didn't probably have that thought in our head. But the fact that Drake did come out again, allegedly, and said, "Yeah, that's not even your kid." At this point, it's one of those things where at the same time you're like, wow, to be fair, hearing about Kendrick, you're like, oh, that's kind of crazy the way he praises,
especially how he carries himself. So such a leader, such an activist and stuff like that. And then you hear, I'm like, well, why is everybody kind of glossing over the fact of what he said? Because at the same time, and to be fair, I'm still Kyle line. To be fair,
Larry Kenny.
It's basically nobody likes Drake anymore.
Yeah.
He's won so much that it's like, all right, we're tired of seeing Drake win.
But wouldn't that give him the GOAT status? Isn't he what LeBron is, really? If you really think about it, LeBron's been hated on so much for no matter what. No, I believe MJ is the GOAT, but
of course, I'm not
different topics. But at the moment, it's everyone's tired of seeing LeBron win, make excuses because he's the highest scoring leader.
Yeah.
So you're upset because Drake's been number one. But at the same time, it's Kendrick, you take usually 4 or 5 years to drop one album because you care of the quality, which is great.
Yeah.
But then you can't be upset about the sales when Drake's nonstop in the booth. Whether ghostwriters or not, doesn't matter. Most of the people listening to this right now, you've heard multiple Drake songs at the club, bars, whatever, and you sang, had fun.
You probably bopped it. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like that. It's more or less like this. The quality of Kendrick is great when he finally puts his album out because it's a compilation. It's a story, and a lot of people have been waiting for a compilation album from Drake. But at the same time, he's showing that I don't need to pull out a compilation album, and that makes him even better because he'll at least put out 2 or 3 songs that you're like, yo, that was good. It took me I think maybe last month, and I've heard the song over and over on TikTok, the Sexy Red, hands where he said, I'm like, yo, that's a good ass song. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
I will say this right now. I would say that this beef probably brought out some of the best songs from both artists. I think if you really listen to them, some of them, even if you don't want to listen to the message, you can listen to just the beat and you could still enjoy it. Meet the Grams, in my opinion, one of the hardest beats.
It is. Kendrick is
a storyteller.
He's a great storyteller because I don't know which one it was because there's so freaking many of them that he just kept continuously changing up the beat after 3 or 4 bars, and you're like, yo, he's going in.
Yeah.
And then Drake comes out and he goes, and you're like,
But at the same time, I think most of us have to agree, like Drake's in a different element by himself too, and like he's been holding himself. Like it's not like we can all sit here and be like it's 4-0, Drake sucks. Like he's holding himself up to Kendrick. Like people would say, wow, like when Family Matters dropped first, it was like, yeah, that was a really good song.
Yeah.
Meet the Grams, wow, that's a good song. Now again, the whole false information, I think discredits the song a little bit. Again, we don't know if it's true, but I believe just at the moment you gotta give Drake the benefit of the doubt because he was man enough to take credit.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, yeah, we did that. Whether it's true or not, I mean, he took credit. So you gotta take his word. If you're gonna take Kendrick's word on everything else, you also gotta take Drake's words on everything else too. You can't do one or the other.
Well, to be the pro activist of this whole thing and to just poo poo all of it, I could care less because you know what? In maybe 2, maybe 3 months, one of them is going to drop an album and everyone's going to be like, yo, remember when they had that beef? Oh, yeah,
Nah,
they had that beef. And like, it's going to sound.
they're gonna drop a song together. It's gonna be the crazy. It's gonna be like a Simon thing.
It's gonna be like, well, Poetic Justice was great. I'm pretty sure there was other songs that Kendrick was on Drake album, but this is so great for hip hop only because now, just like with other things, it's cross multi platform, and that would lead us to our next block, which is people in other sports and other genres are using this beef to bring attention to either themselves or to the beef. Like WWE, I believe CM Punk made a reference to it, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
in his thing. So that's going to be their next thing.
He said,
What
"What
we're
did you
going to
say?"
talk about. He's he said a Kendrick line. He was like, "You want to be like me, you want to dress like me, or something."
Oh,
Like
he
that.
said, I hate you. Hate the way I talk, the way I walk, the way I look."
Yeah.
Pretty much what DMX said about Drake. He's like, I hate the way he looks, the way he talks, the way he raps.
Listen, and countless others. All you can go over. I think there's a baseball player right now, might be playing for the Dodgers. He has Kendrick as one of his walkout songs. But to skip all that, we're going to move on to the next block, which is WWE. We're going to get into basically recap of what happened at Backlash as well as what happened on Monday Night Raw. And by the time this comes out, SmackDown should be out. We're going to talk, maybe touch on a little bit of NXT a little bit. I don't stay too much on NXT unless it's really a major event. So, Manny, you watched Backlash. We both watched Backlash, basically. Tell me your thoughts on Backlash.
I think as fans in the U.S., we got to agree that the European crowd is just better. But I think it's only due to the fact that in Europe, anthems, the fans singing along is very encouraged. Like I know in Europe, I've never seen it at a football stadium yet, but like in Europe, my favorite team, Madrid, they're on their home side, right behind the goalkeeper. You can only be a Madrid fan.
Yeah.
And you can only if you're not wearing white or a team shirt, they won't let you sit there even if you bought a ticket. Because the whole point of being in that section is to chant nonstop, being hype with your team. So to me, it's like obviously I don't think some of the U.S. crowd could do that. I think it's not seen here as much. Like if you look at some of the MLS games, the crowd is like that a bit, but it's not the same. Still not that same aura, I would say.
I think the closest thing that you get to something like the crowds that you usually see overseas is maybe football games where whether it's high school, college, or the pros, it has to be a big game where you get something as crazy and as wild as that.
UFC,
Not on that level.
UFC maybe. Like
Well,
depending on the people.
I consider that overseas because most of the guys aren't American.
True.
They're
Yeah.
from the other countries. So I know a lot of people. There's been a lot of controversy. People are saying, "Oh God, France set the bar too high. Americans aren't going to be able to do it." Blah blah blah. I said that's great because now instead of always coming to a major city, you can expand it to maybe where they want to come to the major city and express themselves. Usually, you only get European crowds at WrestleMania or the day after WrestleMania or Raw.
Yeah.
And that's it. But now, since what their WWE is expanding and they're going to other countries like Puerto Rico,
London,
France,
WrestleMania.
London. Well, London they kind of already did that. I know that could be a thing. That could be a thing where they could go to.
I think it's
London.
Not next year's, but the year after.
I know,
think
and they
we'll be
did
in
Australia
London.
where it was that where they cheered for Rhea, and they done Castle Bash at the Castle. I'm not sure what that Clash at the Castle Drew, that was amazing. They're venturing out, and it's great.
For all the wrestling fans that are in here, Crown Jewel doesn't count, and there's reasons why. We won't get into that right now.
Happy don't talk about that.
Yeah, but Crown Jewel doesn't count. That event doesn't count. It's non-canon.
It technically is not because that's more that's
How did you like the fights?
eh eh.
Yeah,
Most
I mean,
of them were playing because you're still
it's
trying to build,
Backlash.
you're trying to build a story, and you're trying to capitalize on what you did on WrestleMania. No real match stuck out too much, besides maybe Bianca and Jade, only because we kind of figured that they were going to win because you got to break those two up sooner or later for Royal Rumble and for next year's WrestleMania because you want those two to have a match, barring pregnancy or injury with the two.
Sure.
So it's good to get them going. The match was easy and pretty much I think because after the draft, Damage Control went to Monday Night Raw. If I'm
Yes.
not correct. And
Did
sooner or
you
later they're gonna break them up.
did you hear the news about Raw
What
and
happened?
SmackDown?
No,
It's only from now on to the end of the year. It's only going to be on USA.
Raw and SmackDown.
Hmm.
That's because Raw's going on Netflix at the start of January.
Which we all knew.
It's $5 billion deal. So
Pretty much, even for the people who don't watch wrestling, and even if you want to watch it, just to know, if you have a Netflix account now, it's going to be live when it goes live now on Netflix. So like, you might not have the channels, you might not even be home, but if you want to even just randomly, like, maybe you randomly see on X, not previously known as Twitter, that maybe one of your favorite wrestlers came out of nowhere, you can hop on Netflix so fast and just watch.
well, I'm hoping with the Netflix, just to touch on that real quick, is that they do it like how they do it with most Netflix shows. And I know they do that now on the WWE network, but if they do it on Netflix, that's 10 times better. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it with pay-per-views. I don't know if it's still going to be on Peacock. I don't know if they're going to do it to the point where they're going to still do their own streaming service. I don't know. We'll see. That's way down the line. But them both brands for right now, for what, maybe 6 more months, 7 more months until January, both being on the same channel. We talked about this before. I think SmackDown was probably going to go to ESPN.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, it changes the game for pretty much all sports entertainment.
I would agree. I would also say that SmackDown, if SmackDown goes to ESPN, I think it's a giant leap for wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at this point you would have to look at it as a sport because everyone would always say ESPN only does real sports.
Yeah.
So by definition, at this point, you would have to say it's a sport. I mean, it's meant to entertain you at the end of the day, but like they're putting their bodies on the line. It's not like some of that stuff is fake when
Well,
they
for the
get
last
hit.
few years, maybe it might have been 4, maybe 5 years, ESPN's been covering wrestling. It depends on, you get, Patrick Mahomes is just on there. So
I mean, to be fair, Pat McAfee was really because of him. I would say
I did that, and that's why it's
he doesn't get the credit probably.
Most 9 times out of 10, it's still rumor, but it's trending towards that way. That SmackDown and probably Raw, depending on after their 5 year deal, would get bought by ESPN. I mean, they're already kind of because they're partnered with UFC, and I'm pretty sure Disney is like, well, if we already own ESPN and we're the parent company of that, why not just merge that whole thing and we could just keep that conglomerate and just keep going? And it's already based out in Florida. I'm pretty sure it's been talked about.
Honestly, to be fair, Disney owning WWE would just make it even more powerhouse.
I mean, it's just
It's gonna be
it's a
crazy.
powerful IP.
I mean, yeah, but
You can't do anything. With
um,
but
back to Backlash real quick. One of the not one of the good fights, but I would say one of the bigger surprises for Will was probably the Bloodline winning over RKO. I mean, yeah, RKO, right? Yeah, that's still they still the same. I don't know, like, did they say they still have the same name?
well, because I think remember when Edge and Randy Orton they was rated RKO, but now because you have Kevin Owens, it's just easy transition. That's called RKO.
I mean, yeah.
That's only surprise because at the end of the day, with I can't think of his name now. I know it's Tungalo's brother, but I thought
Is it
yeah,
Toma?
Toga.
Toma.
Tonga. No, that's the father. I'm sorry. But him coming in and supposedly, Jacob is hanging around.
Well, apparently they're scared to debut Jacob.
Why?
A lot of well, apparently a lot of like sources on, at Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter, whatever. A lot of sources inside the business are scared that Jacob, when he debuts, they're scared that he might overshadow Solo, and that's what they're scared about. Because
Well, then they're doing great storytelling again. Because I'm telling you right now, Paul Heyman has this story of Bloodline all over.
this is Paul Heyman, 100%. I mean, you guys gotta realize when it comes to Paul Heyman, he could act literally in probably a really good movie. He could on cue probably just look like he's about to get destroyed, wrecked, like he's about beat up, whatever. The next minute he could just be cursing at you, giving you the most motivational speech alive.
Because and this is why Backlash, their victory on Backlash was so surprising for me. Because I was thinking, all right, well, somebody was going to get debuted, whether it was Jacob or Tunga's brother. But I thought it was going to be a no losing effort because this isn't your typical blood. It's not Roman. There's no Rock. So who's the leader? As of right now, it looks like Solo. It probably isn't Solo.
I think what people don't realize after WrestleMania a little bit though is that technically, to The Rock, the bloodline didn't lose. Roman lost. Because if you really think about it, that's why I think them winning isn't a surprise. It's because Roman lost because of all the people Cody had on his side, let's say, right?
They were all mad at Roman.
Yeah. You could even say that, like, to be fair, like, if Undertaker didn't come out, it probably could have been The Rock betraying him right there.
True.
Just because, like, it's something we've all known that when The Rock came and called himself the final boss, it was more like, damn, Roman, like, to be fair, your older cousin just literally came in and said, it's my team.
It's mine.
Yeah. So, like, I think if you really think about it, only Roman lost. It wasn't the bloodline. And if you really think about it, you could tell that The Rock and Solo didn't want Jimmy. So that's why kicking him out was so easy to them because, again, the bloodline didn't lose. Roman lost. That's why he's the only one, when the bloodline got drafted, he was the only one who wasn't drafted.
True.
Because he calls himself the bloodline. It's just because a couple years, last year when he the bloodline got drafted, it was all of them, not just one. But this time around, it was just.
It had Solo and Tonga. And I don't even know if they even added Jimmy onto that one. But this is why.
It was just the two and Paul Heyman.
And look, listen, this is why a lot of people are now all sour on Cody being champion and stuff like that. If you had let the original story play out and have Cody, and granted, it wasn't his fault because CM Punk got injured. I'm pretty sure that was the original plan to have either Seth over there and then Cody, being in the wins or something, or having a triple threat with them. Something was there already planned because The Rock and Roman was guaranteed. Whether CM Punk got hurt at the Rumble or not, the Cody fans were like, we want Cody to finish story. Oh, it was great story finish.
It was a good
Pissed me off because I'm a Roman fan. But at the same time, we knew it was coming because at the end of the day, everybody was clamoring for it. The problem is, and here's the question I have for you. With the bloodline story where it is, and Cody being where they're at, once Roman comes back, is he the face? Is he a baby face or is he a heel again? Because see, a lot of people think he's going to come back as a face. I don't think he's coming back. I think this could be some Vince McMahon, him really actually being.
We don't say that name here just so everyone knows.
I'm so sorry, but I don't care. It could be on some Vince McMahon where he did something,
and he's on Kendrick's side.
Yeah, he just like is Roman calling the shots off, and that everybody just didn't know. Or it could be The Rock. We don't know.
I must go off a limb and say that Roman's probably not going to come back a face. I think he's going to come back still a heel. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a different type of heel. I think it might be more of a. It's going to sound a weird comparison, but I think he's going to be Deadpool, where he's, I guess, the anti-hero. But he'll be more of an anti-heel. Like, he'll probably still be the heel, but, like, he'll have an issue with the bloodline eventually. but like he'll probably come back thinking he's still the leader of the bloodline, and he'll still be a heel. And then I think they'll transition into the face. But it only makes sense that if he's still part of the bloodline, he's gonna come back
True.
as a heel.
Well, because see, my vision and that I would love is that they do some type of Bullet Club bloodline stuff where they just have everybody just says, you know what, get it. Instead of doing, because everybody wants the bloodline versus bloodline. I don't see it. I don't want it. It's corny. It sounds too PG, ruthless aggression era wrestling. You mix all of them together with the Usos, Jimmy finally coming back, Jay finally being back, Solo being Solo, Tungas being that, Fatu, and then Roman come back, and it's like, now what? We just running everything. There's 2 sets of titles now, plus the 2 sets. So why not?
I won't lie, in like a dream scenario for me, I would love for somehow on SmackDown that the bloodline just wins all the championships. And like even if it's not for long, just give them like maybe a 2-month run of all of them being champions. And like really, I think this would literally, because I think at the moment WWE's finding its way to kind of make us forget about Dean Ambrose or Moxley as known right now, and it's because they gave us the Bloodline. And currently, if you could really talk about it, you would say Bloodline is currently the greatest faction. So if you really think about it, even if you gave them just 2 months with all of them holding gold, you could easily be like, yeah, they're the greatest faction because they all held it at the same time. Literally the family held it.
It's the biggest. It would be the biggest bag that you have to take down. And granted, you could still do the story finishing.
That would be the real end game, guys.
Exactly, because then you will have Usos having a SmackDown or Raw, whichever one they want, and then Fatu and Tongas having the other title, Jacob having a United States solo, or whoever having an Intercontinental, Roman having whatever championship, and then it's Cody or Seth holding the other championship.
Definitely, they would still have to hold it. At least probably Cody. I think Seth and Roman holding the championship's gonna be a while. I want to say they'll probably not get another belt for maybe closer to 2026. Yeah. Just because, like, at the moment, Roman, he held the belt for the longest.
Or even The Rock. You can even do The Rock, because then you're doing, because WrestleMania's in Vegas, they announced that, and then it's a high stakes game. Every match in WrestleMania is bloodline matches. And then you can even add, if you wanted to, and this is
at least night 2. Night 2. Imagine like bloodline versus like whatever the Avengers would be in this scenario. So honestly, if you guys really think about it, you could have Cody, Seth, CM Punk, someone who's also had beef with Roman in the past. I do believe that Kenny Omega will probably be on that, just because. I'm not talking about AEW. I'm talking about the person Kenny Omega. Okay. The person Kenny Omega gave Roman his flowers. I don't know if you saw the clip.
I saw the clip.
Like I said, Kenny Omega himself knows that the pinnacle of wrestling is still WWE. And whether he won't say it or will say it deep down, he probably knows that he'll probably just want to have one match. Doesn't matter who it's with. It's probably just having a match at WWE, knowing that he made it. And currently, it's like hard to tell what's going to happen, but we'll see. But I do think that in a great dream scenario, having the bloodline just for a bit hold all the titles would make them such a great faction to destroy, and would honestly take the storytelling a long way. Because then you could honestly give every single member of the bloodline a really good rival.
Of course.
And you could easily have, like, I guess Jacob would be the strongest. Fatu?
Yes.
Ham versus Braun. Maybe him and Drew.
Depending on what they do with Braun. Like, we're getting ahead of something. We've been on this topic a little bit too long, because we haven't even talked about what happened fully on Raw. Just a quick recap on Raw. CM Punk basically made the reference with Drake and Kendrick towards Drew. Drew's hurt.
Hurt.
Judgment Day is probably about to break up sooner or later. Whether, I don't know. Maybe SummerSlam?
don't think they're gonna break up. I believe that they're gonna cost Priest his championship and they'll kick him out.
Probably.
I think Priest will probably turn face.
That's probably happening.
He has at least if he doesn't lose the championship, I would say they would, in a way, I guess, almost cost him, but I guess he'll win in the end, and then he'll like probably leave because you try to betray him, something like that. I guess, but the harder thing would be like who could replace them. But I guess it's probably not hard to find someone like.
No, you could. I'm, once Priest is gone, because then Rhea will come back and everything.
Or Liv.
Or Liv.
I mean,
We'll see.
Dom and Liv.
Liv left Becky hanging. Match of the night was Ricochet and Dragon.
I think Ricochet should get a push.
Should get a push, but they're not. He's too small.
I will give him this that WWE Speed was made for him, and it's him.
Of course, it is. But all right, we've been on that topic a little bit too long. All right, moving on. While we move on from wrestling, if you have any comments, concerns, or anything like that, or even ideas like we just did, and we just speak for about 20 minutes on this topic, hit us on a topic, or even hit us up, whenever you feel like it. All right. Now, on to the fourth block with our film and everything like that. Some major news, breaking news. I forgot to bring it up to you. I don't know if you've even seen this season, this series. Wednesday, season 2 started in production. Right? I don't know if you've seen the first season.
Of what?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
No.
But they started in production this week, so that's supposed to be.
Oh, I think I did see something on Twitter. Yeah. I think I was looking.
Basically, the scripts are finished. They're going to be in production. Christopher Lloyd is back, not as Fester, maybe as a great Uncle Fester or a cousin, something like that. Whatever they did with Christina Ricci, he's out. He's here. He'll be there with us. We're going to talk about the Superman suit for just a few minutes here. I looked at it. Manny has looked
Batman is better, just so we all know.
I'm a Batman fan, so it doesn't matter.
The new suit?
Tell me your thoughts on this.
I did believe it kind of like Will did tell me that it was based on his second year Superman.
It's basically this movie with James Gunn. He's been Superman for a minute. So okay. This is almost like his second or third year as Superman.
I thought the suit looked a bit more futuristic. If you see it, like more like I guess like if you were to really think about it, it kind of looked like something he would wear in like a futuristic Superman, like
he's from a different planet type Superman.
No, not a different planet. Different timeline,
Well, it has drawn inspiration from Mythic 2, Kingdom Come. They mix up. I mean, to me, the suit looks amazing. Only because it's different. You can tell it's Superman, without blinking an eye. I know a lot of people have been bashing on it because it's not their version of Superman. It's not Zack Snyder. It's not Christopher Reeve. I say this. Wait until you see it on film.
I agree. I think that's when we'll really tell. But I guess it's gonna be really hard just because like everyone's so been we've had one Superman for a while now.
Henry Cavill. But for that, I like Man of Steel. After that, everything else is like hit or miss. But the style of that Superman is it. But what I'll also say is there's been 44 different renditions of Superman throughout comics and television and history. This could be his first, because he's new and he just got the suit, so he doesn't know the functionalities of, do I need this? Do I need this need to be tighter? I know because a lot of people have been saying it's a little loose in certain areas. But if you're in a combat, you don't want to be tight. Granted, he's not from a different world. He's from a different world. You don't know. But pretty sure, because also I don't like, and I'm okay with the suit. I hate it though, because once I see this, I'm just like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. The red trunks are back.
Oh,
yeah. You didn't see it because at the end of it, you didn't want to get the guys, the people that love the red trunks of Woody, but the red trunks are back. I don't know why.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, that is Superman.
Why? Why does Superman need to wear red trunks? I never, as a kid, I understood it because I'm like, yes, that's, because trunks are supposed to look like that because you see wrestlers like that. As a superhero, you're like, oh, fuck would you have on red underwear? over your tights with a belt.
Isn't it technically the suit though? It's not trunks.
So why would you wear red underwear, trunks, or whatever in a suit with a belt?
What if it's the most protected part of the suit?
I understand. You could. There's an argument for that, and if you made that case in the movie, if they make the James Gunn, if you're watching this, I know you're not, but if you're watching, if you make that case, I will be like, okay, I'm fine with the trunk. I'm sold though that after a while, the trunks will be gone and it'll be a new suit. The suit will probably be more sleeker, it'll be more futuristic because he'll fix it. Because James Gunn is a visionary, and the guy that's playing Superman, David Cornsweet, he's a Philly guy, so he's local. He is jacked though. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. He was 200 before the movie. Gained 40 pounds because.
Does he know that the Eagles need a safety?
A linebacker for real, but I know a lot of people are just bashing the suit, but the suit looks good. So
It didn't look bad. Again, to be fair, I don't really watch many of the Superman movies. Not because it's not what I'm into. It's just like I don't think a lot of the Superman movies were done right. A couple of them were like very dark in terms of like the storytelling or like the visuals.
Yeah.
So like I understand that there is some Supermans like that, but like the Superman you should open with should be like the light version. Like
he's not Henry Cavill where he's dark and he's emo. He's supposedly it's all G golly and he hasn't nothing has happened to him yet.
I mean, we'll have to see though, because it's gonna be one of those things where like we can make all this about the suit, what we like, what we don't like, but like it's really gonna come down to what the movie's
so
about.
if the movie's great, who's going to give two hells about what the suit looks
You?
like? No, I'm not. I don't. If the movie's bad, I'm gonna care. I hope it's not bad, but I'm trusting James.
Hot take, real quick. What's your least favorite superhero movie
of all time?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or I guess all time is hard, but like of the recent movies that came out in the last like 5 years.
I haven't watched this yet, but I've heard. I'm interested in watching Madam Web. I'm so interested in watching this. I heard it was horrible, and I was going to go and see it. I was going to take Courtney because Courtney, Courtney, my wife, guys, loves Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson. I'm big fans of theirs too, for obvious reasons.
Great word.
But once I got word of how bad it was, I was like, don't want to spend money on this. I'll just wait. Maybe there's some other people that will say it. But as of right now, worst, probably no, Captain Marvel wasn't bad. The Marvels wasn't that bad to me. I just think people took it out of context because I think.
To be fair to all the current.
Wonder Woman 1984 was horrible. I'll say that.
Did it come out?
No. And, 2020.
Oh, yeah, last 5 years.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 1984 was horrible. Love the Christian story, Christian Wiig portion of her, Cheetah, but after that, I was like, I did.
Personally, for me, the Flash movie. I just don't like the way he runs. That kind of really ruins it for me.
Everybody does that. I mean, look, but story-wise, it was good. If you had to choose between killing your mother or saving her, that's a hard choice. I say that to everyone that says the movie's bad because they don't like his run, they don't like Ezra. Fully understand.
I don't care what the man did. I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just more of like
a lot of people care.
A lot of people care, but like I don't know enough to like really know.
If you had that ability where you had to sit and make a choice to whether keeping your mother alive or killing her because you know that saves the world is the hardest choice. And nobody can be like, oh, well, yeah, obviously. But did you really watch it or was you so concerned about X, Y, and Z that you lost the portion of that story?
I get that. But like Peter Parker in Spider-Man, the video game, did it. He let him and May die to save everyone because of the virus.
All right, guys, with the Superman suit down, tell us again if you liked it, loved it, hated it. Even if you don't know, even if you haven't seen it, take a look out of it.
And your least favorite superhero movie, if there is one. I mean, maybe not everyone might have one.
Well, that'll probably be a topic for another show where we just go off of top 5 that worst or best. But speaking of best, you haven't watched this. You need to watch it. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to watch it again tonight. Tom Brady roast was awesome.
I've seen clips. Not a lot of stuff, but I've seen maybe like 4 or 5 clips, but it was like the really stuff that we were like, wow, like they really said that.
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. They hammered a lot with Giselle as well as Aaron Hernandez. It got to the point where I was just like, yeah. Me and Courtney were so loud that people were like, "Yo, y'all gotta calm down," because we were dying.
The biggest thing I saw, at least on Twitter, was the Kanye West joke.
Well, Kim Kardashian made an appearance because there's rumors that her and Tom.
I don't think it's rumors at this point. It's definitely not rumors at this point.
I think at the end of the day, I think they either slept together or they're sleeping together.
How did Tom Brady know she couldn't find a babysitter?
Listen, it is what it is. But you got to watch it. If y'all have watched it, let us know your thoughts on it. I'm watching it again because it was freaking hilarious. Nikki Glazer killed it. Kevin killed it. Most of the comics killed it. So
I saw Elderman was there. Gronk.
Julian Edelman was there.
Julian.
Gronk was hilarious. Julian Edelman was hilarious.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick was funny-ish. Wasn't too, but they started giving him shots. He started getting a little loose. But
I will say that dude is funny. I don't know if you guys saw the Pat McAfee show during the draft.
Everybody says that Bill Belichick is hilarious, but he's at his job. Of course, he's not going to be funny.
Well, yeah, there's Bill Belichick and then there's Coach Belichick.
Yeah.
Obviously, Coach Belichick's gonna ring you one if you don't win the game.
Of course, but again, guys, let us know your thoughts and concerns, and if you thought it was funny, if you have seen it, if you haven't seen it, all right, let us know. Some movies and television shows that came out or that's going to be coming out this week. Fallout is getting a season 2, obviously.
Haven't watched it.
Played the game and you haven't watched it.
Time out. Never played the game.
You
never played the games.
Well, watching the series is going to make you want to play the game.
Fun fact: I decided to play the game before I watched the series, but can't play the game right now because my brother's playing it, and I refuse to play the same game he's playing at the same time. It's not how we do it in my house. Unless it's like a brand new game, like Harry Potter was different, but like Fallout, especially because it's old.
It is old.
It's like
it's not the series.
2018.
What?
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4 was
came out.
I'm pretty sure they're coming out with more games.
Yeah, because of the series, it's just drastically just shut up their marketing.
And look, Amazon messed up again because they put out all the shows at once instead of doing it periodically where you can get it. People talking and talking and talking to make it better.
I think that's the smart move.
No, if it's a bad show, which they didn't have any faith in, so that's why they put it out all at once. But if they actually watched the series, which most of X probably didn't, they would say, "Yo, this is going to make us a lot of money. Let's put them out. Let's put out the first 2, and then keep building like they do with Boys, what they do with Game of Thrones, which is highly successful. This Is Us, The Last of Us, and stuff like that." But with that out,
I've heard it's very good. I've heard it's very good. Like I said, eventually I will watch it. Whether it's probably during when I play the game, maybe at the same time, just because like I guess nowadays it's very hard for one person to just like be doing one thing at a time sometimes now. Like unless you're watching like a deep show with a lot of people, you'll never use your phone. But like, are you ever just watching something by yourself and you're like on your phone randomly?
Of course, and that's usually when you're watching a series. If it's not that interesting, when it has a slow point.
Especially just because I've never been into the Fallout series like that. So like, I'm going into something completely blind. I know what it's about, but like, I don't know what it's about enough to where like, I know I can concentrate and know everything about it. Yeah. Unless it's dragons.
Well,
Dragons
are Dragons are coming out.
Yeah,
that's something.
I'm excited
but
for that.
Big movie that's coming out this week, Planet of the Apes, or Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So it's the 4th rendition of that series. Supposed to be really big. Top 5 movies that came out this week or from the box office this past week were Fall Guy. God, let me just look this up real quick. Sorry. I haven't gotten a tech guy yet. I'm going to get one, guys. Trust me, I will. Maybe Lalo's available. We can have him as our tech guy.
Maybe. Or my cousin Alex.
Yeah, or Alex. Fall Guy came in at first place with $28 million. Star Wars Phantom Menace came out just for this weekend because of their anniversary.
Yeah.
8 Challengers with and then I have to watch that because supposedly that's
The
really
tennis
good.
movie?
Yeah, but it's not really tennis. It's like Euphoria tennis. I don't know. It's something like that. The horror movie Terror and Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla X Kong. The New Empire came in fifth place. So those were the top 5 movies of the week in box office. So out of those movies, are you planning on? You said, and we talked about this off air, that Planet of the Apes wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it wasn't really my
So
kind of movie.
it's taking number one, right?
Mm, oh, maybe not.
No?
I feel like the love for those movies hasn't fully been there as it used to be. I feel, especially after, especially from what I've heard of the not the last one, maybe the one before that.
No, the one before was awesome. That was awesome.
So it's the last one.
Probably the last one.
I've heard like a lot of. I think what a lot of things I've heard were the same reasons that people didn't like the original Godzilla movie with the current Godzilla. It's that it was too much human interaction,
And not enough.
not enough, I guess, the apes or Godzilla.
A lot of people said that, especially with the War of Planet Apes, because you thought it was going to be war, and it wasn't really war. It was just more or less them walking and stuff like that. I think it is because there's no movie out there right now that's can compete with it.
I mean, I don't know, probably Zendaya just because of the name.
They came in fourth and with Fall Guy. I don't see that. It could maybe because the word of mouth gets to it. It could. I don't see it. Again, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let us know what movies that you will probably be watching this upcoming week or weekend.
Let us know what movies you're excited coming up.
Yeah, because
Personally, what's the new Spideyverse movie supposed to be called? Beyond?
Yeah.
Or is,
Well, that's way.
but I mean, personally, that's kind of the only movie I'm looking forward to out of
Not
every. As much as like I love Deadpool, I think Deadpool and that movie is a great movie. I fell in love with the animation of just Spideyverse and how they did it. I guess, and also like all the topics they've. I guess like when you look at Deadpool, you know what you're going into. You're there because it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be an action movie, and it's gonna tell a little bit of a X-Men or Disney Marvel movie.
It's the first time
Yeah.
Deadpool's in the Marvel universe.
But with Spideyverse being especially Miles Morales, it was more of a most people didn't know Miles like that.
No.
And people didn't see what he had to go through. I guess in his universe of like seeing the Peter Parker in his universe die in front of him.
Yeah.
People didn't see it. And then like how if you haven't seen it by now, that's on you. So I'm gonna spoil it. Pretty much he finds out that he was not supposed to be Spider-Man and the Peter Parker in his universe was supposed to be alive the whole time.
Yeah, it was just kind of messed up.
Which, in my opinion, what a great twist.
It is.
I guess no one saw that. And I think that's why I
think it got
really
pushed
liked
back,
it.
though, so I'm not sure if it's coming
The
out
writer's
this year or
strike.
25.
The writer's strike pushed it back.
So
So I'm saddened, but that's currently the movie, like the number one movie I want to see, no matter what. That I know it's gonna like. I'll be satisfied at the end. Like with Deadpool, I guess with like depending on how it ends, you might not be set. Like for some people, I've heard like if they don't bring X-Men into it, maybe like they're gonna be a little bit more disappointed just because like when are we gonna get X-Men? Like
well, I think this will probably be that breaks to it. We'll see.
that's what I mean. But like imagine that they don't bring the X-Men in, then some people will definitely like be upset. And at least with the Spideyverse movie, you know it's the end of the trilogy because they said that they wanted to make it a trilogy.
True. Yes, it's done. It's over after that.
So that's why I think that's the number one movie I'm looking forward to, just because it's the end of, I guess, an arc.
Okay. Because it's the arc, almost like Endgame.
Yeah.
So let us know your thoughts on upcoming movies and everything like that. On to our last block. Before I even get into the NBA, this past, I want to say, by the time this come out, it will probably be Monday. The Met Gala happened. You know what the Met Gala is, right? It's basically prom for celebrities, in my opinion. And we're going into our sports, and this is why I'm going to touch on this. This man Ben Simmons was at the Met Gala
I mean, he has a lot of free time.
because he's not playing basketball at all.
I don't know what he's doing.
They made a post that he played was there longer than he's played professional basketball in the last year. I think he was there for a grand total of maybe 2 hours and 10 minutes, and he's only played a grand total of an hour and 65 minutes. The fact that let me go real quick because I need to, because I used to love
I promise you guys. I think just fun fact, he even reached on him last year or this year. This year he
this year. I thought he was going to be
reached.
in fantasy basketball because I thought he said he was healthy, and I said, all right, you're healthy. You got Mikal Bridges.
He
Miles
believed.
Bridges or
Will
Mikal Bridges.
truly believed in
And
Ben
he was gonna,
Simmons.
he caught a hang now, and he was like, I'm out. The fact that you had the audacity to go to the Met Gala is a crime, and you should be deported back to Australia. I don't care. I'm done. I'll wash my hands. I don't want to see him no more. There's nothing more you can do. I don't blame Kendall. I don't blame Brittany Renner. I don't blame the girls that he's been with that took his whole.
I mean, I know who you can blame.
Who?
Trae Young destroyed him.
Yeah, you could say that, but the fact that a little 5-foot guy, you're 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guy, it shows like you're not a basketball. You were never going to be a basketball player. Why did you even come to play basketball?
I mean, to be fair, I'm not gonna make an excuse for him, but I will come to defend and I would say to be fair, I guess at that moment it's probably the biggest game of your life, really.
In that Atlanta,
he probably really felt everything. Yeah, no, he probably felt all the pressure on him and Embiid.
No, he did.
Yeah, but the pressure won.
That's he said I don't want it.
The pressure won.
I just don't want it.
The pressure won.
I don't want
That's what happened. He got nervous.
No, he did get nervous.
And
I don't want
Trae
it.
Young made him pay.
He said, "I'm getting $45 million no matter if I make this shot or not. I don't want it."
I mean, we really can't be upset with him when, to be fair, he's done more than Tobias Harris, and we just got rid of Tobias. At least Ben Simmons had what, 2 points in that? 4? And that last game though?
They're gone. We're not talking about that. So I'm sorry about that.
Just saying, those 4 points Ben Simmons got in that Atlanta final would have helped us win this game. Tobias Harris let us know.
He had assists too in defense. We're not going to get into it. Right now, we're going to talk about the Eastern Conference playoffs. That's what we're going to be covering today. So right now it's the Knicks Pacers. Knicks won the first game due to some controversial calls or non-controversial calls.
There's been a lot of controversial calls with the Knicks lately.
Well, because they're New York, and the NBA thrives on whether it's LA or New York because it's two mecca cities. You want those cities to make money, and
it's not even the city; it's just the stadium, the historic value of the Garden.
Yes, MSG
it's the pinnacle.
It's the mecca. So of course. But I find it ironic that they have Philly guys, even though some of them are not from Philadelphia, but they were basically bred here. And I know it was a lot of country because it's brother versus brother. I don't like you, even though you were from here. I don't like you. They're Nova guys. You have Philly guys in New York winning games. But tell me your thoughts on.
What do you mean, for the Knicks?
Yeah.
I mean, so you had Philly guys helping the Knicks win,
that
They have Philly people.
DiVincenzo, Brunson, and Hart are all Nova guys. Philly.
The same thing I tell people when it comes to club and country and soccer. You play for the shield on your chest. And in this case, you play for the name on your jersey.
Yes,
you don't play for where you were born.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't beat the Sixers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I find it ironic that Knicks fans are cheering these guys.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And while they were playing the Sixers, and granted, they deserved to win. They out-hustled them because that's all they had. That they're Philly guys.
To be fair, I've always said it multiple times. Will could probably agree. I've always said that I think the Sixers need shooters. Always. I've always said that they finally need a shooter, and that's what beat us. It wasn't. I don't think it was the hustle. I think it was the fact that if you saw Josh Hart in that first game, he was making threes he's never made in his life, and that's what helped him.
Because that's the Nova culture. That's Philly culture.
Shooting?
No, being called upon when there's no need for you to be called upon. Watch them in the championship games at Nova. Josh Hart was trash for most of that tournament run until those Final 4 and 8. He was until he had to show up.
I mean,
again, them and the Sixers, I don't care about. this Pacers Knicks. Give me your thoughts on that. Who's winning this series?
I mean,
before you give me your pick on who's winning the series, give me your thoughts on the series.
yeah, you can say there was a bunch of controversial calls, but at the end of the day, I mean, the Knicks still put up the numbers. If you want to beat the controversial calls, no matter how you like it, I guess the excuse is you got to score more than your opposing team.
Well, the problem now is Mitchell Robinson isn't playing, so they're down a guy. I think.
The Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks. He plays for the Knicks. Big guy, 23.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's not playing. I think he's hurt. I think he's going to probably miss tonight's game, which is we're recording this on Wednesday. This won't be out until Friday, but hopefully we'll see what happens on that. But I don't know. Tyrese Halliburton has shown to me in the last series and this series that he is not a leader of scorer. They need a true guy. Honestly, you know who they need? A Jimmy Butler to be like, yo, in the fourth quarter,
Jim is going to Philly next year. I mean, they're the favorites.
We're not talking about Philly anymore. Philly's they're out, boot, they're gone. Right, they're gone. Do you have the Knicks winning the series and how many games?
If the Pacers can get it together, like get their act together, and like remember who they are as a solid team, like
they are.
Defensively,
they're sound.
I think the Pacers are such, and it's gonna sound wrong, but they're such a good system team, and like every player there can play their role so perfect that it's what makes them so great.
Well, this is the caveat. One of my friends that watched the games as well. Rick Carlisle is the coach for the Patriots. Great defensive-minded coach. He's drafted Jalen Brunson, so he knows Jalen Brunson. Not as well as you would say that he created him, but he's a defensive minded. I don't think this is a wash series, but I do think it's a competitive series. I think
like I said, if the Pacers can remember who they are and what they're really good at, they'll be really good. I think their problem is that they saw how the Knicks played the Sixers, and they were attacking so much and double teaming that the Pacers are trying to keep up that momentum. But like the Knicks aren't going into that game playing the Sixers; they're playing the Pacers, which they completely changed their style. Yeah. That's why they're having a hard time being the team they are.
Well, I have the Knicks probably winning in 7. I think this series goes 7. It could go 6 if they win tonight.
If it goes 7, I think Pacers take it just due to the fact that you let them come back.
True. If the Knicks win on Wednesday, which I think they do, because I think the Pacers.
Is it a home game?
It's a home game. So I think the stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be crazy. Knicks win this series in 7, only because I'm gonna have to have faith in Rick Carlisle's defense and his knowledge of it. He is a championship winning coach. We'll see. It could get ugly if the Knicks win on Wednesday.
We'll see. We'll definitely.
So
see.
who you have winning the series in the Knicks and Pacers?
If Pacers can get their act together, I have Pacers in 7.
And Pacers in 7.
But if they can't win at least tonight, I think it's probably Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5. All right, no. I need a lock. I want you to lock in your pick. You want the Knicks in 5.
Yeah.
Knicks in 5.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Knicks in 7. All right, we'll see what will happen.
You also have the Pacers in 7?
I got the Knicks in 7.
What about you don't have the Pacers at all?
No, I don't. I don't think because they don't have a scorer. And Tyrese Halliburton is not a scorer. He could prove me wrong, but I don't see it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In the Bucks series, he got bailed out by the other guys. It wasn't him. We'll see. We're going to talk shortly about this because I don't think this is a series whatsoever because of what I saw from Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell drops almost 40 points, and the team as a whole was great for the Cavs, but it wasn't enough to thwart the Boston Celtics. Boston beats them by 25. They have too much firepower. I don't see this series going no more than 5. I think Boston wins this clearly in 5.
Probably easily, just because without like discrediting who the Cavs are, to be fair, they're still not a solidified team yet. This team was definitely in the making for a while, and I think it's still in the making. But I think we're seeing a very good. If you really think about it, though, you have a scorer, Mitchell.
Mitchell was supposed to be. That's what he's done his job.
But that just means you're literally maybe 1 or 2 pieces.
But that
off.
was the job of Garland as well. And I think since Donovan Mitchell has came into this league, on this team, Garland has disappeared because it's almost the James Harden effect with Embiid. You was the go-to guy, and then another go-to guy comes in, and Donovan Mitchell doesn't need a lot to create. He dribbles, and he'll find a way to score, and that's what it is. Garland is a creator in terms of I'm a dish it or I can score. Donovan's give me the ball and I'm gonna find a guy. And from what I saw from Boston in game one, they let Donovan do whatever he wanted. Not whatever, but it was like, you're not going to hurt us because those other guys aren't going to kill us. And it's like they match up size for size. Actually, Cleveland has the size advantage, but it's just more or less they don't have the talent.
That's what I mean. Maybe I think they're just probably one or two pieces.
Well, Donovan Mitchell, if the Cavs lose, Donovan's gone. I know a lot of Knicks fans are going to want him. I don't want him as a Sixers fan because all he does is.
You think you can go to the Pacers?
Pacers would be interesting. That would be a good.
If they're missing one piece,
I think if you needed that scorer and you couldn't get a Jimmy Butler, I think Donovan Mitchell would probably be a great consolation prize.
Like, would he be a free agent or?
I think he'll be probably restricted, or you could make a trade. I'm not 100% sure on the contract. I'll have to look into that more, but yeah, Boston in 5, maybe a gentleman's sweep. I think you might get one from Cleveland, but
if they get one, it has to be at home. I don't see them taking a game at Celtics.
I don't see it past 6, honestly.
Honestly, it's probably 5. To be fair,
sorry.
There's nothing against the Cavs. Don't get us wrong. Like, they made it. It's not like we can shit on them because they did make it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like they knew what they were going into. They were going into a powerhouse team. And don't get me wrong, Miami, the underdog run. To be fair, it's probably not going to be seen for a while again, just because
not this year.
At the momentum that Jimmy Butler had at the moment, it was just been an art. He was.
That's the only team that can beat this Boston team. Is a fully healthy Miami Jimmy Butler led team. They beat their demons by beating Miami, even though Jimmy Butler didn't play. They feeling confident. It's Boston to the finals, 100%. I don't even see the Knicks beating them.
Who do you have in the finals? Boston and who?
We'll talk more about that with Malik on the West. I don't know.
I have. If the Nuggets win over the Timberwolves, they're gonna win it all.
They will.
They'll win it all. Boston won't have anything against them.
Toughest test. And I think Boston doesn't have an answer for Jokic or anything like that. So
whether it's Jokic or not, I don't think they have an answer for Murray's shooting ability right now.
No, they don't.
Especially the way that the Nuggets are playing right now. Real quick, because Malik will probably touch more on this, but I think the way, if you look how the Nuggets are playing, it's very Jokic set up the screen real quick. Jamal, I'm going to shoot.
Yeah.
And to be fair, playoff Jamal is different. He can shoot.
He hasn't been these last 2 games, though. Even though game 1 he was okay. But I think Minnesota's defense has just been on a different
level. It's probably, real quick, it's probably the Nuggets' fault. They probably just weren't ready. They haven't probably played an elite defense like this leading up to the series.
No, probably not. Not since last year.
That's what I mean. Like
Dallas,
they really haven't. You could say Dallas, but you couldn't really say Dallas just because they still don't have an answer for Jokic.
True.
It's hard. So again, I would say real quick, it's just the Nuggets just unfortunately for them the way their schedule was is that they just didn't play. They didn't get to play a really elite defense to see what would happen if someone really pressured.
Yeah.
And that just happens. You got to be ready for when your time comes, but you got to give them that advantage. It's like if you go into a playoffs cold and you've never stretched once in your life, you're going to do bad no matter what.
Well, they won the first 2. We'll see. Denver's at home the next 2. And, they could change it.
Talking about, actually, real quick,
what?
About the Timberwolves. What's your opinion on that?
Transitioning into that, this is going to be the last topic for the day. Ant-Man could possibly be the new face of the franchise. Not the franchise of Minnesota.
Yeah, no, Minnesota.
More or less.
Unless he leaves. Unless a different team's going to offer him that bag, he'll probably be the face of Minnesota.
It would be imperative for Minnesota not to lose that man. But
I mean, money talks.
With expansion teams on the horizon with Vegas and Seattle possibly, and the split of Minnesota possibly being moved to the East. He could stay in Minnesota, but there's too much money to be made if he's in a different market, a bigger market. Could you imagine Ant-Man in Miami, New York, LA?
I guess it's really going to come down to like where he wants to live. If he wants to stay in Minnesota,
I think it's more or less whatever Minnesota in the league.
Well, that's what I mean. I think it's going to be if Minnesota just doesn't offer him the right money, he could be like, all right, well, what city do I want to live in, and what team's going to make me that offer? Because let's be fair, if he just randomly today became a free agent, all teams will be sending him a contract right now at different values.
They would send him their best. They're their best.
That's what I mean. So like, to be fair, he's probably in the list. I would say that there's probably like maybe 6 people right now that could leave their team and probably pick anywhere they want. And that, in my opinion, would be Luka, Jokic, and Giannis.
Giannis has slipped a little bit because of injury. I'll give you that.
All right, but let's say he's probably only had one bad year of an injury, which is this year. Yeah, you could say that if he takes his time off and really recovers this summer, he'll probably come back 100% and be ready.
Okay,
but Giannis is probably another one, and then you could probably Steph, probably another one. Age, I get it, but like veteran experience, you could still use that on your team.
I will push back on Steph a little bit, only maybe for one more year.
And Victor who?
Oh yes, that's what I was going to say. You put Victor on that.
But the only reason I'm not putting him on that list right now is because he has no choice but to be on the Spurs for however long his contract.
But that's why I think Ant-Man leaving.
That's what I mean. But
it would be imperative because I think next year is his contract year, and they have I think
he was a first round. They can extend.
Yes, he's get the 4th year option, but they will have to give him a max contract.
Yeah,
they don't.
That's what I mean.
He doesn't accept it, actually. No, he has to accept it.
Yes,
he has to accept it, so he gets that. But he can opt out or not opt out, ask for a trade. A superstar nowadays in the NBA can be like, I don't want to be here. Send me out.
Sit out.
It's imperative for Minnesota to make him happy.
They don't have a choice. If they want to just compete again, especially if they win this year.
Well, this is the only year they have to win, because if they don't win, you're jammed up because you don't have to pay. You have to pay Cat. And you don't have to pay other people. You're not going to have the money because you're going to have to give a boatload of money just to keep him. And he's going to warrant it because of what he's doing. If they sweep, or even gentlemen sweep, Denver, the defending champs this year.
If it goes 4-0, it's over. He can ask for whatever he wants.
$400 million, because at the end of the day,
he's gonna get that Mbappe money. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
But no, Ant is probably one of the faces. Wemby is going to be one of the faces. I want to say Tyrese. I don't know if he's there just yet. Trae Young is probably a face. Ja would have been a face.
Is Trae Young a face if there's so much rumors of him getting traded?
Well, because he's young and he gives you so much energy.
But like if you see all the teams he's linked to right now, though, each one of those teams already has a face.
Okay.
So like it's hard to. I just can't put him in that category just because I would say that. After probably like 2 years, his game in the playoffs just went down. His regular season's good, but like I guess his playoffs.
They haven't done that in the building though. But we'll see.
But that's what I mean.
He's not going to be in Atlanta after this year. He's probably.
I think.
Is he either going to be? I don't know. He could be anywhere. I don't think it'd be funny if he went to the Knicks. That would be me personally, because that wouldn't work. Because you would have to.
Imagine he went to Dallas. Played with.
No.
Imagine just the fact that
who would have the ball?
Huh?
Who would have the ball?
Still good. Go transition to the shooting guard.
It wouldn't work. Not with him and Kyrie. It wouldn't work. That's too small.
To be fair, Kyrie probably has a year or 2.
Kyrie can play however long he wants, as long as.
I mean, I think he still has the skills, and I think it's going to get to the point where like he's been injured and hurt a lot. Sooner or later, I think you could even tell when he gets hurt now. Like it definitely lingers more than it used to.
Well, with him, it's not injury. And we'll see.
I guess we'll see.
Next year we won't.
But yeah, I would say Ant probably has the ability to go anywhere, everywhere, and ask for probably whatever he wants. He could ask for 3 mansions.
He could ask for the president's daughter if he went to
Especially like Miami.
He wouldn't get it, but
You kidding me? If he was like, yeah, I'll play in Miami. Miami's like, what do you want? You want Messi's house? Well,
yeah, you know, it would be. All right, guys, we've went over our time a little bit.
Just a bit.
We went over about 20 minutes. It's been a great show. When you see this, subscribe, like. If you're listening to our podcast, hit the like button. Show us some love and appreciation. We'll see you later. I'm your host, Will Ray. That's my man, Manny. See y'all next time.